My November journal pages turned out to be some of my favorite ones yet, and I think I know why. Hello, my name is Micah, and in this video I want to flip through my Hobonichi pages for November. Something just clicked this month, and as I flip through, I'm going to try to explain what I think happened on those pages, that I like them so much, in the hopes that it'll help you in your journaling. But before we take a look at the daily pages, I want to share my monthly overview with the little daily doodles, just trying to capture the day or the main event of the day in a little doodle like this. So we have getting a flu and COVID vaccine, but we also have a grocery run. My husband and I made white pizza for the first time. We had some lovely fall walks as well. All those kinds of little things. I got a package from Miso Paper. I have that haul up on the channel as well. So yeah, these are always very fun to do, and they just look so cute because they're so very tiny. And yeah, there's just something really precious about seeing the month as a whole in this way, and I am going to continue doing this. But now onto the daily pages. So on this first sort of introductory page for the month, I just decorated a little bit and then wrote out what I guess some would consider an intention. So I wrote, November can feel very gray and dreary. I hope I can see its soft and subtle beauty. And as we go along, we'll see if I was able to accomplish that. So yeah, the first was just a very slow day. I really like this whole color palette with this soft sagey green and the pinks. It's just very muted but still cozy, so that's really fun. And then here on this spread, I guess I was in the mood to draw. I actually sent in 2 of my fountain pens this month to get the nibs reduced by Kirkspear from Pen Realms. So this was the day when I sent them in. This was actually a fountain pen day, which was kind of like interesting to have just sent away my favorite pens and not have them on fountain pen day. But yeah, it was just a day of looking at some of the deals that they had going on, but also catching up on journaling. And then yeah, also love the color palette here. There's just something happening where I'm a little bit more free, I think, too, with the layouts. If you remember in late October, there were some that were just really sparse and very minimalistic in a way. And I think I'm letting myself break out of the grid again, out of those columns, and just play. Here we even have a double flip. So at first I just drew us walking, having a nice fall walk, but I really liked this photo. It reminds me of what the lighting was like. It felt so magical with the sundown, just catching the tops of the trees. And so I put that in, and then I needed some more space to write about something that we talked about on the walk. So that's kind of fun. And then this day was just not a lot happening, so I wrote out a currently reading, watching, eating. I thought that was really fun. These are sometimes those things that I forget to capture when I think about only what I did in a day. And sometimes it's just nice to, yeah, just kind of capture, what are you reading? What are your thoughts filled with because of what you're reading? And what are you eating? You know, sometimes recipes come and go in terms of their rotation in a meal plan. So yeah, really, really fun. Again, more fall walks with beautiful light. This was kind of fun too. I didn't have a lot to write. So with the decoration, I just kind of trimmed down the page a little bit further. And so now the writing doesn't really look lost. And yeah, it's just really fun. And here I was then getting into combining decorations that I typically do in my collage pages with the birds and the washi tape, but then I also just introduce a drawing. Sometimes I get these really weird, not wicked, not wicked yet. I get these weird, vivid dreams, and sometimes they just linger for the day, like the way they make me feel just sort of like stays with me throughout the day, which is kind of annoying, I would say. And so that's why I drew this little character, this girl sitting on the clouds and the stars, just sort of, I felt like that was a good representation of that. And so, as you might be able to tell, I feel like I'm just more playful than I was in previous months. I just don't, well, I do care, but there's just something that's happening with the color palettes being more playful, the layouts just being really free and combining things in a way where I would before maybe just stick down these printouts, but now I'm putting like flowers over top or adding another bird, you know, just liking what I like and filling the page up with it. I think I'm very much more sort of maximalist about it and not too precise in sort of, does it make sense? In the sense that, so the bear here, ready to hibernate, is laying on this washi tape, but then we also have a sketchbook and a mug, and there are mushrooms and a flower, you know, and I like the way it looks and creates this little frame and leaves me enough space to write, but it's not like a scene that reads. Similar with here, combining the birds that are not drawn. These are PT tapes, but these are drawn. Previously, I would often decide, am I going to collage or am I going to draw? And those two didn't really mix, and that's, why not? Here, the same thing. Just put down some flowers that look pretty. They have nothing to do with the new microphone that I bought for my camera, and I tried to draw it out, right? But I like the way it looks, and it fills the page, and it just makes me really, really happy to see this. If you have seen my Hobonichi Weeks setup, I did something similar where I just realized I can just be whimsical about everything. Just put stuff down that I like to see together and don't worry so much. Just make something that brings you joy, and that's sort of like, yeah, gives you that whimsical feeling, and it's fantastic. So I guess for maybe you looking at your pages, if they don't quite turn out the way that you would want, or what is more important is, do they feel like you want them to feel? I always think that that's a good indicator of, in journaling, if something is working or not working. Are you able to capture what you want to capture, and do the pages feel the way you want them to feel? And I think this feels like me. There's something that's happening with, yeah, the patterns and the whimsicalness, the playfulness, the just enjoying the stationery and enjoying combining that with drawing, that I find really appealing and really meaningful. And it also helps me to sort of feel, okay, this is my journal where I do work with other people's artwork and other people's color palettes that I don't get to do in a sketchbook, but I can still bring in drawings. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. And then, yeah, just really embracing these soft color palettes this month was really nice. So yeah, this was Thanksgiving. I used this little photo here from a PET tape sample that Barbara from Miso Paper had sent in my order. I thought that looked really nice and calm. And then my mother-in-law had made these wonderful platters. My husband and I are vegetarians, so we didn't actually eat a turkey, but she formed a little turkey out of fruits. And then we had a vegetable owl tray, so that's really sweet. So I included that. And yeah, here I filmed my Hobonichi Weeks setup. I put in the little thumbnail just to remind myself. And this was Black Friday. I actually bought some new colors for my Tombow collection. They had a deal for those. This day my pens came back, so I tipped in the business card and then drew out how they're writing now. So I just had them reduced slightly to make them finer, because most of the time I use them drawing in my little A6 notebook, and so I found that I need just a little bit of a finer line. This page is actually about journaling, really meta in a way, but I'm trying to obviously figure out my lineup for 2024, and I'm hoping that that video is going to be out soon. There was just a couple little fine-tuning things I'm trying to make my mind up. So yeah, that was that. Yeah, just a day running errands, and I had printed out these pictures from this artist, Manomine. I don't know exactly how you pronounce that. I'll have her linked below. She makes these super, super cute stuffed animals. And so I couldn't help myself but print some of her Instagram images out to bring her cute creations into my journal. Really sweet. Yeah, and again, just being, free to do whatever and bring in the things that I love the most. I really like this spread too, because I don't know, this is the, I don't know, I feel like this is definitely how I want my pages to look and feel like. Yeah, we got our vaccines. So I have this cat here. Pretty much all the cats on my pages are from my subscription service, Cat Collage Club. If you want to find out more about that, I have that linked below. We got a new oven delivered, and I was very proud of myself that day because I drove us out of the parking structure at the hospital where we got our vaccine, and that was the first time I drove in a parking garage. So yeah, have that in there. And then the next day we actually felt so sick, so we had to stay in bed all day. So that's what that is like. And then another cute creation from Manomine, because that's what it felt like. It felt like you just wanted to be a little kid with your stuffy and just be comfy cozy, and somebody takes care of you. Yeah, but then the next day we felt better and we got groceries and did some errands and things like that. And then we are already in December. Can you believe it? And I did the same thing, just wrote out a little bit of an intention for next year, because as you might have seen, I actually did embrace the colors of November and November's subtle beauties. It took a lot more pictures while we went on walks, and I feel like overall, just a color palette with those softer colors that definitely reflects November. So I think the setting these intentions definitely helps, and I don't know, I think this is just a fun way to use these monthly pages. But yeah, now we just have December left, and I mean, it is definitely chunky, and I can feel the puff on the left side, but I think I'm doing pretty okay. I mean, that, I've seen thicker Hobonichis. At first I was considering putting December in a different book, simply because also we are going to travel and see my family in Germany in December, and You're staying until January, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna take the new book with me. But then it feels like I'm so close to having the whole half of the year in this. It feels a little bit like, oh man, I want to have December in here as well. So I think I'm gonna squeeze December in. So yeah, what do you think? I hope I was somewhat able to explain why I like this month's pages so much. It's obviously a little tricky to explain these things because they're also so subjective, right? You could be looking at this page and think, what is she thinking? But I don't know. I think I've really found a groove. It feels natural and it just makes me happy to look at. And that I think is a major win in my book when it comes to journal pages, that there's things on the page that you like looking at and like looking back on, I think. So yeah, really excited to see where that's going in December. Something I've definitely noticed in terms of writing, I want to experiment with capturing more different things rather than so often recounting what happens in a day, because that is also something that I do in my 5-year Hobonichi. So yeah, getting more into something like the currently, or capturing more little small moments like that. But I'll experiment with that and see what happens. Yeah, so I hope this was enjoyable to watch and that you found something inspiring in this. Let me know if my explanation made sense to you as to why I think these are some of my favorite pages. And thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Until next time, happy journaling!